What's up? Here we go. We got Egypt, we got Giza, we got the numeric value. We have the 24 by 7 and the 6 by 28. The 6 is numeric value for Mars. The 7 is the numeric value for Earth, for the reason that Mars is number 51, 5 and 1, 6. Earth is 52, 5 and 2, 7. So we do both of them. One runs the moon, one runs the day. The total is 52 and 13. So we have 13 cards in the deck, making up 52 cards. But the 6 lives inside the 7. It would be the diamond suit that goes both ways. The ways to create separation, X's and O's to create. And the reason for that is we have to have separation the same way we have to have plus and minus. Right? Noting that 225 is right over here. But here we have an area space of a cell. And when you do that space back up to the center, you're occupying other cells. So if we divide it over here, we're going to have a 9 and 9 area space between what is the average space of 2.25, noting that it is 5 times 45 and what creates this. And the left, this is equal to 225, and the leftover is 135, which is 3 times 45. Just to note that ACE, 1, 3, and 5. Also SUN, S1, U3, and N5. Also 18, the first house of Resh into the E world. This is the first part of existence in the E world. Understanding what A, B, C, D, E is in games. Because if we had to go to existing creation, we might just start with J. J in his assembly of A, B, C, and D to start with J. So if we just take away the D part from J, we'd end up with A, B, C, and then our separation would be with D. And if we were talking about 100% of something, right, then we would be talking about one whole. That means there'd be 0.9, 0.8, 0.7. So in doing this, D becomes 40, okay, as of D4, and A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, they would all be 10, 20, and 30, because they are wholes of something. They take up a complete area space, and they tell me that right over here. Because you see, what do you see? You see 3 dots. That's all you see is 3 dots. So what number do you see? You see 3 dots. So if you see 3 dots in 3 area spaces, here you see 5 dots. Now we can see that with the 6 cube, it's telling me I can squeeze 2 dots between each one of these. So therefore I have a total of 9 dots. The expression of the cube is 9 dots. Plus the entire area is your 10. So your 10 is your area of 1 and 9, 2 and 8, 3 and 7, 4 and 6. You have your 5 and 5. And if you have your 5 and 5, it's the inverted of 2 and 2, because now you have the cube of 7, where 5 is inverted to 2, where 55 is inverted to 22. 55 and 22. If I remember correctly, 55 is Sky Pass, and 22 is Go, Ape, Bust, Picture, Monkey. So they're talking about picture monkey. They're looking at a 10. The 10 is a value of 39, where it's 20 plus 19. S and T, like in first. Like in best, test, all the rest. Even in last is first. 10 also is reference to angel and sky. Another word for numeric value for sky is that it's C-I-E-L in French. 17 and 9, 23 and 9, 12 and 5, 17 and 12, 29, which can be created by 14, 54, 20, and 9, or can be created through 16, 76, 42, and 13, or minus 13 from 42, equals to 29. Mathematics, 1 times 6, 1 plus 6, 7 and 6, 7 times 6, 7 plus 6, Earth and Mars coming together at 13, and through the gateway of the cat, the 9 lives, E-I-E-I-O, in man's maker, to the house of Bai. It's the buy house. It's also the IT house. It's also, you have to use up what is 11 and 2. Where do you get that? 9 and 2 is 11. So 11 is 1 and 1 is 2. So now you're going to get 20. So you're going to get T, K, and B, each telling their own story. It's going to talk about B, right, when it's only a singular. See, this is 2 is only one number. So where do we put the one number? Do we put it here? Or does the one number complete a cell? So if we have a 1 number, or we have a 2 numbers, or if you want to look at it above and below when you have these 2 numbers. So if they're saying above and below, our actual world is like this. And when I create the plus sign, it becomes the multiple sign in this scenario. And then look at the kind of paper we work on. 8.5 by 11. So we have to understand this is the angle we're working on. See, the builder's angle, they run like this, right? It's 4 feet by 8 feet, right? So if this is 8, so 4 by 8. So we're working on a plywood that's 4, 4, and 4. It works out to a perfect 3 parts of a plywood of 4 feet by 8 feet. Because 8.5, you have to lose the sign when you saw the plywood, right? Are they a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller? You have to remember the blade when you're building. As well, that when you put down the plywood, how far from the wall are you going to squeeze it up against the wall? And, you know, everything like gongs gets a little bit bigger. Where are we with this now? So we understood this as equals to 60 and 40. So now we have 100% of something. You ever thought, how come time is 60 and not 100? Well, there you go. Because we're running on Mars time. So are we running 1.5 times Mars time? Or do we lose, are we adding 40 seconds onto our life because of Mars? Because of the division of space. The division of space. I think they put it here and here. You know, the way they put that crossing. Anyways, where are we with this? Angel is number 39. When we do the mathematics, it becomes 27 and 12, which comes back to the same number, except each one of these takes you on a numeric journey. So that's your ABC. And then when you get your ABC, you'll note that ABC is on one side, all separated, gold, silver, and bronze. But once you flip that 3, 180 degrees. You only have to flip it one time, 45 degrees, right? How many times do you flip this? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 5, 6. You got 4 times here, so you flipped it 3 times only. So that's 135. And now you must automatically go completely to this side, 180. So you went 135 for the first side, then you had to flip 180 in order to get to there. Now you have to go 45 more, and then you have to, what do we not do? We do 45 more, okay, and that's your 270. And now you have to flip it back 180 degrees, right? Let's say you stopped on 6, you got to go to 1. You have to do 180 degrees or 450 degrees to start over. So you want to see what it's again. I want to go 45 degrees from here to here. Or is that a 90-degree turn? No, isn't a 90-degree turn? What's a 90-degree turn? Is that 90 or is that 45? I just think I made a mistake. I think we have to stop here. So let me start that. Just let me say that again. We're going to go from here to here, and that's 90. And then I'm going to go to here, and that's 90. And then I'm going to go to here. Right, hold on a second. I started here. I went to here is 90. I went to here is 90. I went to here is 90. Now I already started here. So I did this. Now I have to go to 180. So I'll go to 2. So I go 180. And then I'll go to 1. I'll only do 90. And then I'll go over to, that's 90. And then I'll go over to 5. And that's 90. Start on 290, 90. And then I'll go over to, anyways, I don't know which way I should have turned it. And then I'll do another 90, and then I'll do a 180. So I'm doing 270 and 180 in my movement to get to the other side. That's the way this cube is telling me to move. In order to bring things to the full formation, it's 1, 2, 3. ABC full formation. D brings it back to the beginning and creates its first linear pad. And the roulette numbers are also made that way. And to note, not only that the Mayans, they run this timing calendar or gearage of 13 and 7. And I'd have to look that up or find it for you. And what happens, it's 9 and 413, which is equivalent to 6 and 1 7. So once we know we're working at 13 and 7, my first question is that the minimum, okay, to have 13 would be 9 and 4. That's my minimum. So you're married on the 4th finger and your birth is on the 9th finger, actually the same finger, equaling to 13. And what's ironic about this is that it also equates to 36. Now, when we're working with the cube, right, we must work with the 7 and 6 automatically. When we're working with 7 and 6, okay, that equals to 13. But are we working with this 7? Because we can't actually work with this 7 and 6 because this is your original 7. Your 6 works with number 3 with 6 missing parts. There's a total of 9 areas, okay, and according to Rubik's Cube, we have the same scenario, 9 areas, 6 and 3, 5 and 4, 1 and 8, and the magic, 2 and 7. This is our gateway, 1 and 8, 2 and 7, 1 and 8. You see where the 1 is playing inside the gateway. It's playing in this 7 area over here. And the artwork, okay, undeniable, the truth, whoop, I didn't do that right. I shouldn't have that line in there. Is they take this Tetris piece and they take the same piece, they take that same piece, okay, and they make it over here. And by doing that, you end up encompassing an area space by locking these two together. Now you need to put a lock block. So you put a lock block here and a lock block here. So when I'm saying you lock these blocks, what happens is you put the block here and you put a bolt in here, and then you put a bolt in here. So these two are locked together, and then you put a bolt in here and a bolt in here, and now you lock those together. Now the question is, if that's what's happening, what do these dots mean? Because I just did that one over there, right? So we're going to end this video quickly and shortly. We're going to get down to where the Monopoly board in the spirit of 76, where we have 6 areas and 1 area and 6 areas. When we have 7, we might be talking about Earth, but if we're talking about 6, we're talking about Mars. So does that mean Mars works in here and in here and in here and in here, because that's where your 6 is? It's not including this. But Earth does include this. So that means all rotation of Mars is being enveloped on Earth. That means there's Mars, 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 Mars. And we have a singular moon, and then we have 2 moons, because possibly life, okay, the way life has, you always need an empty area of transfer of space, like an empty space and a space that you're going, or a space where you're coming back to. And noting that each area of these spaces is the train tracks. And note that when you do have the train tracks, you're always owning both sides of the train tracks. So when you own, both sides of the train tracks, okay, you're going to automatically own, right? We're not going to count, I don't know if I should count these top spaces because they end up on each side, although these two, these are the connecting, dividing areas. I don't want to count them. So we're going to count 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. So we have 16 plus 2 areas over here. So we have 18, 18, 18, 18. We have a total of 54. There's a total of 169 areas. If we talk about 168, it's 168. That's around 169. This is 13 by 13 equals to 169. So when we're talking about Mars, okay, we're talking about 6 times 28. We're talking about man's cycle of the moon. 28, to become man. Man only becomes man at the age of 13. Talk about Mars because it's perfect. There's nothing in between. Mars divides the windows. Earth creates 9 windows. Mars is 4 windows. Earth Mars. Now, obviously, we have to understand a point versus a line. 1 versus, actually, that's supposed to be 5 when you're counting with numbers. I have to find a new way to count that. You can maybe count it as 4, but when you split it like this, right? When you split it like this, Earth gets a 5 mark. So when you split Mars up, right, you see 4 areas, right? But there's 9. Where do you see 9? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 9. Now, should I be connecting the connected lines of anything, or should we understand the area space that is being used as occupation? Or should we actually just create it like this? Let me see. Let me see if I got this right. Yeah, so that when we divide it this way, in the only true way to create it, we have actually 16. See, here's the 4 boxes, but the 9 areas, looking like 4 or 9. Here we did it again, right? Here we have 9 areas, 9 areas, 9 areas. It's not the same. It's not the same. So we're going to do it again. It's not this, it's not this. It's this. And here we have 9 areas, but when we create this 9 areas, you create 16. 16 creates 9, and it says pi. Where we use up these 4 areas, these 4 areas, these 4 areas, and these 4 areas to entourage around the heart at the same time. And where I showed you that we put 2 hearts to bring them together, and then 2 more hearts again over here, so that this block will now encompass into this block, and this block will now come into this block. And now we've locked up the blocks through this area over here. The house of bait has now been created. How do we lock the blocks? Raphael 7286. Thank you for watching this video.